Well, welcome back everyone. So let me show you what we got going on here today. In an effort to try to strengthen everything up, I got two plates and I welded them together. Had the notch right here so we can still bolt this up, and I also put studs all the way around this guy right here. So let me move this. Now, one thing that people say about these Vortechs, belt right here will slip. So in an effort to try to make that not happen, this is what I've concocted just using normal hand tools, nothing special. Just took a lot of time. So if you see, this goes up further. I just used this old scrap metal. This is all done by scrap. And this guy right here, I'll show you why this is important later on, because when you put a pulley right here, you can no longer tighten it, because normally this guy sits right here. There's a pulley here and it goes down and you use this to tighten it. But now that it's on this side, and I have a pulley right here, which is this guy. So let me go ahead and assemble this, and I'll show you guys exactly how this is working and why I'm doing it like this. So you're wondering what this was. It's basically just a big ass crow's foot that I just cut off, so that way we can still get a wrench on there. So I moved this guy, I took it out a little bit. I made painstakingly this little key. So let me go ahead and we'll assemble this for the first pulley. Put that guy in there. And then I have these guys, which right here, which I have put on the belt sander and sanded so that way everything was perfectly aligned with the top pulley. So this guy goes right here. That's good enough for right now to keep it together. Then let's go ahead and hit her up. Alright, so we got that on there. And that's pretty much how this piece initially goes together. And if you're wondering, this guy right here, this is going to be the bigger one I'm going to use just to get the whole thing set up. Hopefully it doesn't have too much boost. But this is a grip tech pulley. So I am investing in a grip tech pulley to give this guy a lot more traction to hopefully ensure that belt doesn't slip too much. That is the plan. So the way this guy goes on is very simple, just like all the other ones. It's an 8.8 bolt. So this guy goes right here. And I added this so that we have a little more throw, so that way if the belt comes down right here to the crank, if it was right here, it's already going to start tightening it up. But I put it right here, so when it goes down to the crank, it'll just be barely on this, and we'll have a lot more room to tighten that guy around this right here. And then of course we have our other pulley, which also painstakingly ground down. Oops. All right, I found it. All this stuff right here has been painstakingly ground down to ensure that it is perfectly lined up with this guy right here. So basically, how this is going to go is like that. So the belt will go right here, around this, and then it'll go down this way. It basically, it'll hit this right here, and then we can tighten it up and give it as much clamp around that pulley. So that's pretty much how that works. And this right here, we can tighten it down, and then use this to cinch it down so it doesn't move. So let me go ahead and put this on the vehicle real quick, and I'll show you how it looks. And if you notice, this guy right here, I got these. These are, it's not really studs, it's all thread, but this all thread is stronger than grade 8, and I got this from a McMaster car. So we're gonna stud that on there. I might stud these guys too, I'm not sure, but these are custom bolts that I cut that have full engagement into the head. So there's 3 right here, and there's also 2 down right here. So this bracket is really a sturdy bracket. I see some guys talking about the plates flex, but maybe it's not just the plates, and it's usually Mustang guys who say that their stuff flexes, but I don't see this guy really flexing. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me show you. So, man, this thing is definitely beefy now, guys, way beefier than it was. So basically, since we have studs, it goes on there way easier. I'll go ahead and get this guy on right here. Now these guys right here are longer than they need to be, and I'll show you why they're longer in a minute, so you can see the next part of my idea, my redneck plan to try to address all the issues that these belt-driven Vortechs have on the small block Chevy kits. Because most of the time you see them slip, but they only have one tensioner, which goes from the top. So you see I've reversed it, and we can put it right here. So let's go ahead and tighten this guy down, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Alright, so she is on there. Okay, so the other part of this plan is to use this guy right here. This is a auto tensioner off of a big rig truck, a big diesel truck. So it's pretty hefty. It'll go right around here, and that's why these guys come out, because I can make a plate off of these 4 bolts, and we can put it right around here. So it'll have, not sure what direction we'll put it, but so that it has the most throw. Now, this isn't going to be the only source that's going to keep the belt tight. That's not what this intent is for this. We have the manual tensioner, which will do most of the tightening on the belt. But here's the problem with just a manual tensioner. As the RPM comes up and there's stress on the belt, it will actually get looser, because that's just kind of how the belt works. It can't have that same pressure all the time as the RPM rises. So as RPM rises, you'll watch it. With the manual tensioners, that belt will kind of flap around, and it can come off here, and it also loosens up as the RPM increases, and that's what makes it slip. One of the other reasons why it likes to slip on the pulley up there. So the only reason for this guy is as the RPM comes up, this auto tensioner, in conjunction with the manual tensioner, it will take the slack out of the belt, which the manual tensioner cannot. That is its only purpose. It's not there to put all the tension on the belt. It's only there to keep the slack out as the RPM comes up, in the hopes that we can get a belt system on this to not slip at around 7,000 RPM. So that's the other plan for this guy right here. So picture this, the belt will come down here, around here, and then down this way, right? And of course, all the way loose, it should be able to have a good bit of tension right here. So we'll have this guy right here, right? This thing sucks. Come on, there we go. To do this, right? So basically, we can get the belt tight, like good and tight here, and then we can lock it down. And that's why I put that right there. So we should be able to get it pretty tight here. And then we'll also have the auto tensioner. Like I said before, its only purpose is to keep the slack out of the belt as the RPM goes up. And then when we're done, we can then, as it sits, we can take this tension off the belt, or I might just remove the belt so that way the belts that I have on here don't get stretched out sitting on here for a long period of time. And there's one more thing that I have to do. I got 2 of these right here. See, this is the spacer that goes right here. Now, since I have a crank pulley, a alternator pulley, and a trigger that comes off my crank, this guy doesn't line up to here. So basically what I'm going to have to do is put this guy in a lathe, and we're going to have to take that difference and shorten this spacer up, which I'm okay with for sure, because it's definitely better to put that pulley closer towards the crank so you don't have as much force here on the outside. I've seen some people, they actually space this out a whole bunch. I ain't trying to space this out any more than it already is. We're trying to keep this guy closer that way. And hopefully this guy doesn't flex. It might still flex, who knows. But hopefully it's enough rigidity that doesn't cause any issues. But we will find out. And if it does, that'll be the next road that we cross. So that's pretty much where I'm at, guys. Made some good progress. I'm going to have to send this blower back to Vortech to get rebuilt. I might not have to, but this seal right here is bad in the front. I don't know how many miles are on this guy, so I'm just going to go ahead and send it back to Vortech, have them service it, and then when I get it back, we'll put the belt on here. I'll get this guy turned, and we can finally get a belt system on here that everything lines up. So that is the plan. So stay subscribed, guys, and keep looking. I know I'm kind of slow, but I am making progress. And until next time, peace.